We're guys. We keep a little dirt under my pillow for the dirt man, in case he comes to town. What? Keep a little dirt under my pillow for the dirt man, so he won't take me down to his lair deep under the mountain.
What are you talking about?
Underground, that's where he keeps his dirt.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Thursday, June 13th, 2024. I'm Jay E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, Matapsha Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Heyo. And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Hello to all the podcast listeners. Hello to everyone joining us live on YouTube in the stream team, specifically Steve Kirby. What's up, Steve? Thanks for swinging by. We're going to break down Game 3 of the NBA Finals, but before we get to that, we got to pay our respects to the passing of another NBA legend, Jerry West, the iconic Lakers guard who inspired the NBA's logo and later built one of basketball's greatest dynasties, passed away peacefully Wednesday with his wife Karen by his side. He was 86 years old. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver issued the following statement. I won't read all of it, but he began by writing, Jerry West was a basketball genius and a defining figure in our league for more than 60 years. He distinguished himself not only as an NBA champion and an all-star in all 14 of his playing seasons, but also as the consummate competitor who embraced the biggest moments. He was the league's first finals MVP and made rising to the occasion his signature quality, earning him the nickname Mr. Clutch. So, yeah, some more, obviously sad news here. It's been a rough stretch here for the NBA, losing Bill Walton, Chet Walker, Jerry West. I mean, heaven is building one hell of a team up there, but Jerry West, an icon, the logo, passing on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think the person who conveyed exactly what Jerry West did bestly was our man at The Athletic, Tim Kamakami, who had to work with him for years. I read this and I rejigged it because I did some editing here, but this is just too good not to relay to everybody out there. He wrote, "Nobody ever cussed me out more than Jerry did on those long phone calls and occasionally in person, and nobody ever made me want to keep getting cussed out. There was just a gallantry to this man. There was a broadness. There was a manifest destiny to West, who somehow was 100% West Virginia and also 100% Los Angeles and 100% NBA institution and 100% rebel. All at once." Always in those perfectly tailored suits and always representing everything real and regal about this league. A true connection to Jerry West meant that you were connected to everything because he was connected to everything. And at times it felt like West acted almost as co-commissioner, or at least a very loud counterweight to anything David Stern and then Adam Silver contemplated and did. He did a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes. He did a lot of things in his career. It's hard to just pinpoint because there's just so much to get to. And yeah, Tim Kawakami did that, and then I start getting into the basketball clips of how great a freaking basketball player he was. But then he was a magician in the front office. So he did so much.
Yes, very high on my list of guys that I wish I had been able to actually seen play when they were in their prime, because weren't you just telling us the other day, Skeets, that Jerry West is the all-time leader in points per game in the NBA Finals?
I believe so.
And they didn't have a three-point line, and he shot from outside? Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The nickname Mr. Clutch, that's awesome. He's the logo. Went into the Hall of Fame as a player, went in as a contributor as well. Like you're saying, he helped build the Showtime Lakers. He helped build further teams of the Lakers. He was involved with the Golden State Warriors dynasty. He hopped on with the Clippers. I saw John Hollinger was mentioning all of the advice that he brought to the Grizzlies when Hollinger was working there. He did everything. The guy was finals MVP in a loss.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah, he was known to older generations. I don't know about Steve Kirby. I don't know how old Steve is, but to a lot of older generations as the greatest two-guard ever, like back then. Like we said, 14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA selection, most of those first team. He made 5 all-defensive teams. He probably would have made another 5 or 6 if the award had even been around when he first came into the league. It didn't come into existence until like 68 or 69, and he started making those. He had 8 top 5 MVP finishes. Yeah, the finals MVP despite the loss. He finally did get his championship, so that was huge. But pretty wild that he's in fact going to be going into the Hall of Fame for 3 different things. A player, yes. Then he was a part of the Olympic 1960 team, and then as a contributor, as you said. He also has the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's a gold medalist, as we said. Like, he's got it all. Like, he did everything. And then, the executive part of it all. In 1 week, he traded Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant, and then 1 week later, basically, signed Shaq as a free agent.
Good week.
That's a pretty damn good week. And when you actually zoom out, he had sort of a hand in the signing of Shaq, Kevin Durant with the Warriors, and then Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers. So
he wouldn't let
amazing.
Clay be traded for Kevin Love. Not going to let that happen. He was very adamant about that. I like how you brought up there was no three-point line. He sent the game in the 1970 finals to overtime from beyond midcourt for a 2-point shot.
Yeah, it would have been a winner. If they had the 3-point line.
It was money. It was a money shot from like 65 feet. It looked like a short jumper for him.
And if you're looking for some summer reading, highly encourage you to read West by West, his autobiography. It's phenomenal. I mean, it is as real as an autobiography can get. He had a crazy life, growing up in West Virginia. Abusive father, his mother was depressed, lost his brother, and then you obviously get into the NBA successes and failures. It's a great autobiography. Highly recommend it. But Jerry West, gone at 86 years old. Let's pivot to Game 3 of the NBA Finals recap, because the Boston Celtics are 1 win away from capturing the 2024 NBA title. Boston built its fourth quarter lead to 21 points before we had a crazy rally from the Mavericks, turned Game 3 into a wild one, but the Celtics withstood every late charge. We had Luka fouling out. I know we'll get into that. And the Beantown Boys take the 3-0 lead in the finals here with the 106-99 victory in Dallas. Where do you want to start, Taz? What was your big takeaway from a wild Game 3?
Well, it stinks for the Mavericks that Luka's worst game matched up with Kyrie's best game. Kyrie finally had a really good game, and this was Luka's worst one. The guy's averaging nearly 30 points per game in this series, but he just didn't have it tonight. Or in this game. Tonight, it feels like I'm there.
Still there.
I wouldn't watch that second half again, so it still feels like I'm right there, because I wanted to know what happened in that third quarter where Dallas kind of fell apart. And there was just... Luka was just missing a lot of bunnies in this game. He just didn't have his shot. And then he was falling flat on defense, allowing the baseline cuts to happen. And so the Celtics kept moving the ball when that happened. And the Mavs were just trying so desperately, but they didn't have it. They did not have it. And I know it got close in the end after it was a 21-point lead, and Mike Breen said, "This is a Celtic tsunami." And Jaylen Brown put his hand up to his ear to say, "Hey, Mavs fans, do you hear that?" And that was a 21-point lead, and that's when the Celtics kind of went back to the old Celtics ways. They're kind of pounding the air out of the ball and shooting a little bit too quick. Now, I don't feel bad about the Luka fouls. We can get into every single one, because you can actually... You can find lots of mistakes that Luka made in those fouls. Mm-hmm. But in the end, really, this was Kyrie's... We're sort of living in the moment here after Game 3. This was Kyrie's first good game of the series. He was obviously awesome. They just have not had enough support beyond that. And so Luka has just had to be monstrous. And again, he was just missing bunnies. He just didn't have it. And lost it defensively at times too. He was just looked like frustrated Luka. I don't know if it's because he's got the new baby and it's a bad sleep going home to Dallas. That's an excuse. It's totally an excuse. The reason why he didn't play that way, he just had a bad game here. He's carried this team for a lot of the playoffs and just hasn't had didn't have an awesome game.
He started on fire. I mean, he made 5 of his first 7 shots. I thought he looked fast off the bounce. He was like exploding to the rim. This was early. And then he started to fall in love with what I saw The Athletic describe as the kill shot. Like, where he was just like too early in the game, maybe going for that huge step back 3. Tried it a couple times. He was missing them. He did not have a great 3-point shooting game. And then, yes, defensively getting, put into action, getting exposed, and then complaining quite a lot, turning into good old temper boy, get him the t-shirt still, when he was like getting caught up with these fouls, and ultimately leading to the one where they challenged late and decided, no, that was a block, man. You weren't completely set. But holy crap, we saw the good Luka early, and then we saw what makes him very frustrating, Trey, as the game went on.
Yeah, he got lost within the game. the game within the game is in the game.
Survivor.
A man named Jay Skeets once told me that, and it was totally true. And that's what I thought happened last night. This was equivalent to me of the 6 for 20 game he had against the Thunder, where it was just like every time he missed, he was complaining to the refs. He was trying to draw fouls on Lou Dort, and it was just doing all of the stuff outside of showing the poise that we're used to seeing from a guy like Luka Doncic. Because the Celtics, they got 61 points combined from Tatum and Brown, 62 points combined from Kyrie and Luka in this game. That's what you're hoping for. You're hoping those two cancel each other out, and then when it gets close, we've got the closer. They didn't have the closer in Luka last night because of the fouls, but he fouled 3 times in the fourth quarter. A couple of them were dumb. Some of them were borderline, absolutely, but smart stuff by Jaylen Brown to push in that scenario. See, I got Luka in front of me. He's either going to have to stop me at the rim, which he hasn't done at all in this playoffs and cannot do against the Celtics, or we draw a foul. And he drew a foul there. Maybe the 5th one was a question mark, but it was just disappointing from Luka. He didn't have the mentality to bring the Mavericks home in this game, because the game was there to win. The Mavericks could have won game 2 when the Celtics couldn't shoot at all from 3. 10 for 49 or whatever they finished, or 10 for 39, I think, in that game. And then in this one, when the Celtics show us their bad offense in the fourth quarter, another game where you think maybe Boston could lose, the Mavericks weren't able to steal that one. So the 2 stealable sort of games, the Mavericks came up short. It's because every player on the Celtics is good. And there's like 2 good guys on the Mavericks.
Yeah, I didn't like the Luka demeanor from the first quarter, really. I thought, the foul baiting was there, and that was a problem. Towards the end of the first quarter, he just shot a 3-point shot. Al Horford high-fived him. He went to the ground and was begging the referee for a call. The championship is on the line. This is the game. Yeah. You just got to get your butt up and get back. And what happened was a 5-on-4, Sam Hauser, cash on the 3, and that was Sam Hauser. All you needed to do was stand in front of him. And he had some.
And the very next play, same thing. He fell down trying to draw a foul on a 3-pointer, and it was a run out for a Tatum dunk. Those are 5 points they just gave away.
Right at the end of the first quarter, it was a big swing. It's totally true. And there were some bad shots in the second quarter, like that air ball over Pritchard. How does that happen? Weird. When you're shooting over Pritchard, he just missed. He tossed one off the rim when he was looking for Derek Jones Jr. I guess it was such a flat shot, but Derek Jones Jr. sort of ran away from the rim. And I thought maybe this is going to change in the second half. Maybe he'll get it going in the second half. But in that third quarter, where he only had 1 foul going into the second half, offensively, he just wasn't there. He's missing bunnies, and he missed a bunny, and Derek White got the rebound, and he hammered him for his second foul 90 feet away from the basket.
It was a frustration foul for sure.
Totally frustration foul. And again, he only had 2 fouls going into the fourth quarter. So then he had an offensive foul on
Brown, I think.
Brown, to start with
a little bit of a hook.
A little bit of James Capers giving that call right there. And then Pritchard got around him. He just went by him, Peyton Pritchard, and then he just fouled him from behind. He knew it, and he said, "That's my foul." And so the 5th one, it was a weird one. 2 bodies flying to the floor. You can call it both ways. You could definitely call it on Luka. You definitely call it on Jaylen Brown when they were sort of tussling on the box there. And then, the 3-point one, that last one where, why is he taking a charge 23 feet from the basket? I mean, he was just sort of not in the right position. He kind of knew it. He was just half-assed in it to be in that spot right there. You don't need to be that. You could just slide your feet.
Yeah. The final Luka foul, it's definitely a bang-bang play, but I think it's the right call after they looked at it. It's just, you don't want anyone to foul out on a bang-bang play, especially a superstar, but that's what happens when you pick up those dumb fouls before. You just went through them. Yep. 3 of those, I would say, were completely boneheaded fouls.
Yeah, and he said, that's my foul. He knew it then. Why did he do it?
Now, I was sort of confused, I'll be honest. I thought they were challenging after the 5th foul. We went to a timeout. We went to a break. There was a commercial break, and I thought that one where he gets tied up with Jaylen Brown there, where they're sort of both hooking each other, that was the one I thought they were challenging. And then you come back and you're like, hold on, I guess they didn't. And then soon after we get this one where he's screaming at the bench, you better challenge this one. And they're like, okay, man, we will. We'll try and keep you in the game. But he turned into Temper Boy. He really does. And he needs to get better at keeping that in check. Well, let's obviously talk a little bit more about the Celtics here, because they were down early. They fought back. And they didn't even play a good first quarter, and they were down 1 point. So you knew they were like, okay, we're in this. And then that third quarter, Trey, really was pretty special. Jaylen Brown take over in that quarter. They sort of built the lead. Now, it gave it all back in the fourth, but that was them moving the ball. Nothing was off of a lot of dribbling or ISO stuff. That was when they were at their best. And obviously was a huge run in this game. because by the end they could sort of just keep the Mavericks at bay in the fourth.
Yeah, the third quarter was perfect Celtics basketball. They were playing solid enough defense. They weren't forcing any turnovers. The first 4 minutes, it felt like both teams were scoring on every single possession. But as the quarter continued, once Xavier Tillman comes in, the Luka stopper, able to shut people down, it ended up being the Celtics just kept scoring on every single possession. Meanwhile, Dallas could not get the looks that they're going for, and it really shows in the three-point shooting. Dallas went 17 of 46 in this game. The Mavericks went 9 of 25. They just cannot get the looks that they're accustomed to. They got 5 corner three-pointers in this game. Impressive. That's the most they've had so far in a game thus this series. They made 2 of them, but Dallas still hasn't scored 100 points yet. They haven't made double-digit three-pointers in a game yet, and they haven't even attempted 30 or more three-pointers in a game in the finals. So for the series, it's 129 to 66 from the three-point line in Boston's favor. That's just hard to make up.
Yeah.
Even though the Celtics tried their best to give it away in the fourth quarter. They were just taking so long to get into their actions, playing so slow. You go back and you watch the run for the Mavericks, the 22-2 run. Every possession for the Celtics is starting like 9 seconds left. How can we create here? It's going to be a fadeaway. It's going to be a three-pointer. They stopped getting in the lane. They just tried to shorten the game. It didn't work. But the good thing about the Celtics is that when their offense goes, they still play defense. The defense was incredible from the Celtics, I thought, in the fourth quarter. He had Derek White forcing Kyrie Irving to his left hand a couple of times. Kyrie can make those shots, but they're a lot tougher. You had Al Horford forcing a miss on a sidestep 3 from Kyrie after Luka had fouled out. Dallas definitely outplayed Boston in the fourth quarter, but not in crunch time. In the last 5 minutes, 11-5 for the Celtics. They once again found a way to steal victory from the jaws of victory. I don't know. It's like they have the lead. They're trying to blow it, but then they're like, oh, hold on a second. If we play a solid 5 minutes here, we still got it. And they were able to do it. I guess it's because Joe Mazzulla shows them UFC fights.
That's right.
Shows them guys getting choked out who come back and win. Said it makes them tougher. Weird stuff from this guy,
and he
but it
said
works.
something about watching your nuts as well in a UFC fight.
Yeah, guys who get hit in the nuts, but then also go on to win.
That's right.
You can respond.
He likes doing jiu-jitsu himself. He fights himself, and he says it's more of a mental battle than a physical battle. Mentally, that man is there. Obviously, he is ready for every single play. And you can't get down 21 points. And it is true. The Celtics just look like they're playing prevent offense, just trying to kill time.
Yes, they were.
They're trying to kill this thing. And it came down to, I know the Luka fouls, we've talked about it enough. Then what probably killed the Mavs too was that PJ Washington screen foul a minute later. It was 3 minutes left. A screen foul in the backcourt. And he was definitely moving. He got his shoulder in there. But it probably took some wind out of them. It's hard to come back from 21 points in a fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. That's right. What it comes down to.
It would have tied like the biggest comeback in finals history if they had pulled it off.
Yeah.
Boston had lost a handful of games like this, though, in previous playoffs. I mean, this where they look like they're great, they look like they're running away with it, then they go to the stalling offense there and they blow it. But, it was like that Anthony Davis meme where he's poking around the corner. The demons were lurking. The demons were like, hey, what's going on in there? When that 20-2 run or whatever it was happened for Dallas. But then I thought the Celtics star players, Jay, made just enough plays, right? Because you had Brown with a little putback when Tatum missed inside. You had Holiday with a beautiful drive baseline kicking out to Derek White, who splashed a 3. That put Boston back up 6. White was hitting timely 3s once again. And then you had that one where Tatum just used his strength to catch the ball in the middle of the paint. It was a risky of entry pass in there, but he just bullied guys to get it. And then he went and dunked it. So that was huge. Now, on his next possession, that was good Tatum, and then on the next possession was bad Tatum because he did one of those sidestep 3s, even though he said he wasn't going to do them, and we shouldn't do them. But he did one.
Literally in the mic'd up
Make up your mind,
man.
But then I thought, I guess it was 60 seconds or so to go. Boston was only up 2 amidst all this madness. Jaylen Brown demanded the ball. Give me the ball. And he just he had Tim Hardaway Jr. on him, so that helps, but got to his spot, rose up, hit that jumper. That was a massive shot. And he also had the shot that sort of ended a bit of a 12-0 run there earlier in the fourth quarter.
He had the only 2 in 22-2.
Yeah, right. So I just thought that was, you'd love to see that, and he's probably the finals MVP here going into game 4. He's the odds-on favorite to win it. I don't know what would have to happen for him to not take Finals
it's
MVP.
interesting.
But yeah, he was awesome.
What's great about him was it was bad Jaylen in the first half. He only had 6 points, and he was doing a little bit of the Tatum, not a sidestep three, but pull up from the 3-point line, and wasn't able to hit one. And he had a couple corner threes. The only threes he hit was in the second half there, because he said, all right, well, the pull-up threes just ain't working. And so he realized, this is what I got to do. The first half, you could see a little bit of, since we're talking old Celtics, you see a little bit of old Jaylen. He was losing the ball while dribbling. What's going on? But he turned it on in the second half. Only 6 points in the first half and then 24 in the second half, because he was taking it upon himself. So did he secure Finals MVP? The night that Tatum had his best game, Jaylen Brown comes and drops 30 to Tatum's 31. It's hard to say that Jaylen Brown would not get it. It's very difficult because he also has the best highlights. He's got all the crams. He had the cock back huge dunk in game 1, another one past Luka in game 2, and then another one in this one
At the end of the third quarter.
Yeah. So he's got 3 crams. You put that on the highlights. Now, I guess some people are going to be pro Tatum because his numbers are good, but Brown's scoring more and Tatum's doing more, otherwise, the boards and the assists. So, I don't know. What does Brown want? I just got the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Does he say, hey, Tatum, this one's yours? Does he go up to every
He wants
voter?
the full complement of Celtics trophies.
Yeah, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, he wants the Bill Russell to go next to his Larry Bird, and he's going to get it because you're right. Tatum is doing more from a rebounding and playmaking standpoint, but Jaylen Brown has been locked down defensively as well. Sometimes on Luka, sometimes on Kyrie. He has had several pick sixes where he's stealing the ball at half court, taking it down for the dunk. I think I would say that the dunk last night was the best one he's had yet in the finals. He's got one giant one per game. Call him Zach with all these crams. But I couldn't remember the name.
Cut, man.
I couldn't remember the name of the emailer we had. Did we have a Steve Cram maybe earlier this week? Yeah, the full
But
family.
Zach Graham, a writer for the Ringer.
He's had a Zach, he's had a Steve, and he's had a Carl Cram as well. But yeah, I thought that was the best one. In a half-court setting, getting to his right hand for the dunk, that was pretty nice.
That's a good debate. That's honestly, no one's going to pick game 2s. No. That was the Derek Lively. He plays on the other team. His outlet pass for Jaylen Brown. That was his best dunk. And in that game, he kind of got by Luka when Derek Lively just threw a wild pass from his own end. And Jaylen Brown got past Luka. And it was a fast break.
Yeah.
Both in game 1, game 3, it was a half-court set where it was a big hammer in game 1. I go game 1. I mean,
the only problem with game
lively.
1's dunk is he almost goes through the rim. Isn't that the dunk where it's like it's not the cleanest dunk in the world?
Yeah,
no, there's a lot of guys around.
Yeah, there's 4 hands.
He sort of hits the front of the rim and then it goes in.
Yeah.
This one was emphatic at the end of the third quarter.
more
And I like
emphatic.
this one more because it was that was his quarter. He took over the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 15 points, like I said, in the third quarter.
Yeah.
They built a 15-point lead, and he punctuated it with that dunk.
Yeah.
So I would lean that one. I think,
heard.
if this ends Friday, I'm not sure it would be possible for another Celtic player to catch him in one game. Maybe it goes longer, and maybe there's a case for Tatum. Probably it's pretty far-fetched for, obviously, Holiday, as he sort of has slipped now in the odds. It's going to be Brown or Tatum, I think, but it's Jaylen Brown's to lose at this point. I think he just has an average game, and I would think he'd still win it if they sweep on Friday.
And in the post-game interview, he said to Lisa Salters, as he was asked about overcoming this win, she asked about the fourth quarter, and he was basically talking about the 3-0 lead and how they won game 3, and he said it's finally happened. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he basically said. To me, it's 2022 for him in his mind when they were unable to go up 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. So I wondered, does he think this series is over? And that's when Lisa Salter says, I'm asking you about the fourth quarter. All right, Jaylen? That's what I'm asking you about. Because he quickly said it, but he basically feels, to me, it sounded like he thinks this thing is over, which
It is over.
It looks like it's
just,
very much
when does
over.
it end? Does it end Friday or does it end? When do they play next? Sunday or Monday?
Sunday, yeah.
We will see. Some love to Joe Mazzulla for going with Xavier Tillman as the backup big. A lot of people did not see this coming. Now, I guess we should have started with this. No Porzingis in Game 3. Open the door a little bit more for Dallas to maybe get back in this series. He's ruled out with injury. Okay, everybody's like, all right, well, what does that mean? More minutes for Horford. He's obviously getting up there in age. How long will he last, especially defensively, when he's putting into a lot of pick-and-roll situations? Will he go Luke Cornett as sort of just the spot minutes as the backup big, maybe when Luka's on the bench? Will he go O'Shea Brissett? Maybe sort of stay small, switch a lot of stuff out there. Will he go Tatum more at center and try that? No, instead he goes with Xavier Tillman. And man, did he come through. X gonna give it to you. There's a damn clip going around Twitter with that as the soundtrack. And his highlights, Tillman's highlights from this game. He played 11 minutes. And he hit sort of a corner three, more of a three there. He grabbed 4 boards. He had 2 blocks, including one against Luka.
Yeah, both were against Luka.
Both were against Luka. He was awesome. Xavier Tillman. I was happy about this because we always say when guys get traded or picked up, like deep sort of end of rotation guys, what do we say? Hey, maybe that guy can win you a quarter of a playoff game. We always say it. And more times than not, it doesn't come true. More times than not, they do not win you anything. No. And I'm not saying he won them a quarter, but he played 11 impactful minutes. That's almost a quarter of basketball. So in a weird way, X did it. Xavier won them sort of a quarter and helped win them a game at least, TK.
Yeah, I mean, he's the same shape as Luka Doncic, so it works defensively. Like, Luka had to try and go around him. It's a big guy to get around, and Tillman did a good job of moving his feet and challenging at the rim. I did not think it was going to go well because his first stint, he gave up an and one and a three-pointer like right away. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Al Horford's playing 44 minutes tonight. So that's the big win to me, is that getting 11 minutes from Tillman means that Horford only had to play 37. They need him again, tomorrow. And they need him again perhaps on Sunday if the series gets extended. So even being able to steal a quarter's worth of minutes for Tillman, I thought that was humongous. And then I thought Hauser was big time as well. The Celtics don't care. They're like, we'll put Hauser, we'll put Tillman, we'll put Pritchard on any of these Lukas or Kyries. Yeah. They're going to get cooked, but they're going to compete, and it's going to be a tough shot for the Mavs to make, and they got to make a contested 2-pointer. That's the shot you live with in basketball right now. So there was even less doubling of Luka last night. His assist numbers were back down, he finished with 3 assists. I guess he finished with 6 assists last night, but not the 12 that we saw in Game 2. He just wasn't completely in it, and the Celtics game plan is working perfectly, and they haven't had to change anything yet. They haven't had to make an adjustment once in this series. We'll see if anything changes in Game 4.
Yeah, Sammy Hauser's defense and the way he's playing whoever's in front of him allows Boston to keep playing their defense. Yep. They allowed him to keep switching, splashing 3 threes in the first half, then airballing in the second half. That's weird for Sammy Hauser with such a beautiful shot, that high arcing shot. I think it hit the Dallas rafters there. But Xavier Tillman was awesome. The guy that Brad Stevens got at the deadline to be their third center, really. Yeah. Now they have 3 centers. On the broadcast, they talked about Luke Cornett being the guy who's going to play for Kristaps Porzingis. That obviously did not happen. Xavier Tillman, who Joe Mazzulla said he was in the Western Conference. He's played against Luka Doncic. He knows how to play him, and that helped us. And he had a great playoff series last year when he had a 22-point game and guarded Anthony Davis pretty well. Well enough, anyways, and blocked Luka frickin' twice. So Xavier Tillman, respect to him. I don't know how you say X gonna give it to you when the guy's name, he goes by Xavier, even though it's spelled with an X, and he looks like he's old, but he's only 26.
I know, that guy looks 36.
26?
Yes. He's basically...
he's 25.
He's Luka's age.
Yeah. It's because he's balding.
He's earned the senior on his jersey.
Yeah. He's like, just put it on. Look at me.
I've been saying this since high school.
Just chuck it on the back. Yeah. I've looked old my entire life. Yeah. He's one of those babies that looks old. Oh, my God.
Yeah, definitely.
But what a game. And, I'll eat some crow. I said Porzingis was obviously the huge difference maker for the Celtics, their chances to win this title. So when he wasn't going to play in Game 3, I was like, wow, holy. And it looked like that from the start. It was like, okay, the Mavs they played aggressive. They're picking up steals. Kyrie was fighting on the glass. Luka, like we said, was sort of setting the tone early. And it didn't matter because, Tillman comes in and spells Horford, and he plays great. I just thought they couldn't do this without Porzingis. Now they're in a weird spot. What is, if he can go in Game 4, it's like, I guess we need you, but we don't really. We'll take you if you're good to go. Last thing you want, though, is to win the championship, but also get hurt in that game. Nobody wants to.
You don't get to celebrate.
You don't get to celebrate fun. Yeah, that would suck. So it's a big decision for him.
It looks like he's walking around fine.
Yeah.
Running maybe isn't the thing. It sounds like it's hard for him to push off.
Yeah.
I will say Lively had a better game without having to go against Porzingis. He actually closed in this one, but he finished with 11 points, 13 rebounds. He was really making an impact out there, an assist, a couple of steals. This was his best game, the first real game he's played during the finals. But the difference is that Al Horford is still outplaying the Dallas centers, and now you throw Tillman into the mix. They've at least got enough players that they can keep good guys out there. It's never going to be 5-on-4 offensively because the Mavs are also putting out a guy who can't play. If it's Maxi Kleber, didn't even look at the rim the first time he touched the ball, so he's like, next time I get it, I'm shooting it. And Jaylen Brown knew that, so he punched it. Literally just punched the three-point attempt from Kleber. It somehow gets back into Kleber's hands, and he throws it out of bounds. This was a disappointment from Kleber. And then Tim Hardaway Jr., he got a shot. He got several looks. He had a wide open look down 6 after Derek White tried to foul.
Yeah.
They didn't give him the call on that one. You can see him complaining to the ref as Tim Hardaway Jr. is taking a wide open 3, which he bricked. So, bummer for Jason Kidd, you know? Joe Mazzulla pushes a button. We're going with Xavier Tillman. He shows up. Jason Kidd pushes a button. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. He did not show up.
No.
And
Because-
he was closing in this game.
Well, yeah.
Because Luka was out.
Yeah, and he was like, they're looking obviously for some scoring, some three-point shooting, and you're going to hope it's going to be Tim Hardaway Jr. He went 0 for 5, 0 for 3 from deep, and then he's a liability defensively is the other issue.
There was one that rattled in and out. It looked like
Yes, it
that
did.
toilet was clogged for the Tim Hardaway shot because it looked like it was going down. But some shots just didn't go. As you mentioned, Maxi Kleber, he didn't shoot the first time. He had an open three-point shot. Looking at him, passed out, and then, he got blocked by Jaylen Brown, and then the ball in his hands, and he dropped it. Now, he almost had a chance when he had a drive, and it looked like he could finish it, but just missed. So it was just a bad Kleber night. It was great to see Derek Lively yelling a lot. He was great with the double-double and lots of plays where he was just fighting for boards. You know, a classic guy who fights for offensive boards, and it goes off Boston and out, and then getting another possession because, he had yells per minute were definitely up. He was yelling as much as he could. But also, the Celtics just kept going. Like, Derek White was shooting lousy from 3 to start this game. 1 for 5 from 3 at the beginning. But then just kept it going and blocked the snot out of Tim Hardaway.
Yes,
I thought it was a classic one he did on Kyrie earlier on in this series. I tweeted, wow, he has trailed Kyrie twice and blocked him. Why is that a good tweet? I don't know, but it was Tim Hardaway. So I had to delete that thing because it was Tim. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Oh, you don't have the blue check, can't edit it.
No, you can't
Just got
edit
straight
it.
up delete it.
Not checking. I'm not bluing it.
Okay, fair enough. So the Celtics are now 21-7 on the road over the past 3 postseasons. The best winning percentage over a 3-year span in NBA history, breaking the tie with the 91-93 Chicago Bulls. Wow. That's how dominant they've been on the road here in the playoffs. And Dallas now is facing the 0-3 deficit. Everybody knows it by this point. Teams are 0-156 in playoff series after falling behind 3-0 in NBA history. It's happened 14 times in the NBA Finals. And, of course, no team has come back. But, as we look ahead to Friday night, what is there anything you can see that Dallas should try in terms of maybe more minutes for a particular player? Like maybe Josh Green did play okay in this one. Do you get wild and just throw him into the starting lineup instead of Derek Jones Jr.? Is there anything you see, TK? And I guess the flip to that is, what's it going to take for the Celtics to complete the sweep there on Friday night?
Derek Jones Jr. only 15 minutes and 47 seconds. I'm guessing that's the fewest minutes he's played so far in the finals. He is gun shy right now, just passing up threes, and when he's taking them, they don't look good as well. So maybe Josh Green helps, though I don't think he's a much more willing shooter. At least he has a little confidence making a big one there in the fourth quarter. But at this point, I kind of think that Dallas has to go into underdog mode and just shoot bad three-pointers. Get a serious number of three-point attempts up. You should try and get 40 up to try and keep pace with the Celtics because the offense just hasn't been there. They haven't been over 100 yet in a game. This is a team that's supposed to be doing it offensively. So you saw it I'm thinking back to the Cavaliers playing against, I guess, the Celtics, right? They just took a ton of threes in Game 7 when Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert were out. That's what you got to do.
What happened was Game 4 of that series where they were down 3-0, right? When the Cavs were down 3-0. They just splashed. Remember, we were hanging out at Jared's house. Splash, 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 splash. It was wild. They hit. It was over 23s in that game. I forget the number offhand, but it was we're down 3-0. It's time to splash. And they won a game, but that was the only game. So I suppose that could be the issue. The thing is that Kyrie, he had 20 points in this first half. That's more than he had in either of the first or second games total in either of those games. So you're asking a lot of him as well. But just somebody get hot. I mean, the fact is with guys who they expected to be able to shoot the threes, and Derek Jones Jr. and Maxi Kleber don't have it. It hurts, man. It really does hurt.
Do you expect this to end on Friday night and we get another sweep here in the finals?
Yes.
Yeah. Because there's nothing you see that like the Mavericks have figured out the Celtics
They just got to shoot well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they got to get 3-pointers up. The two things that have made the Mavs offense so good during the playoffs, lob dunks and 3-pointers. I don't think they're going to get the lob dunks. It just doesn't seem to be the way that this series is going to go with the Tatum guarding Gafford. It's just getting into one-on-one play the entire time. That's just not a way to generate either of those looks, really. But this, to me, was the Mavericks' best punch. You know, they came out like crazy. The crowd was amped.
Yeah.
They made a big run in the fourth quarter. Boston could have easily turtled it away then. What do you guys think about Jayson Kidd calling a timeout in the midst of a gigantic run? A momentum-killing timeout if it's Joe Mazzulla calling it, right? Everybody's like, oh, great timeout if Joe does that.
Yeah.
When it's your own coach doing it, kind of weird.
Luka looked pissed.
He was upset.
Luka looked pissed because they had the ball and they were going in transition. On the other hand, that was some wild basketball being played.
Definitely.
You can understand a little bit of like, hey, let's catch our breath. We're now back in this game. Let's, draw something up and get a good look. And, you're probably gassed at as it is. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird to see when you're the one team on the run for you then to stop it. But I sort of understood it, just the pure insanity. There was a stretch. And just to go back to sort of Luka's frustration, and I am not making excuses because we went over those fouls. Some of them were just stupid, and they were frustration fouls, and they were dumb fouls. And that's what put him into that spot to then pick up that 5th and 6th foul and get him out of the game. But start of the third quarter, they were letting the boys play.
Yes.
They were it was turning into a rugby match out there. Whistles were being swallowed on both ends. There was a lot of physical play. And maybe that then led to the frustration of why am I picking up all these fouls now here in the fourth quarter? You weren't really calling it earlier in the half. I think maybe it was maybe a part of his frustration. But they sort of just changed how they were calling it, I thought.
Yes.
And it wasn't favoring either team. It was just pandemonium there for a stretch.
Dallas got a call with 45 seconds left when Al Horford was tripped, and it was deemed that he stepped on the sideline. But I'm not sure why Davis corrected the call and said, I think basically what happened was, Luka just fouled it out. We called that offensive foul on PJ Washington. You know what? Al Horford got tripped, but he also kind of stepped out of bounds. They gave him the ball. So it was a bit of a makeup there. Yeah, having
a crazy play by Horford.
Yeah, what was he doing?
That was crazy, man. Yeah. He just zoomed up the court. It was 1-on-4.
Yeah.
Where are you going, Al?
The center. That guy slowed down, man.
Al almost has too much energy. Al feels he's doing the Tom Brady workouts. Do you see him before opening tip? He's at midcourt. The last 2 games. He's jumping before the ball is tossed.
Save it.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's played in over 180 playoff games. He's very close to a championship. Finally.
Carl's still gonna have the
amped.
Carl's still gonna have the name or the title as most games without a finals win. Most games in the playoffs.
A championship.
Sorry, Carl. Yeah.
Sorry, Carl.
It's Carl and
Sorry,
John.
Carl. Yeah, he's passing. I think he's passed John.
He has
now.
passed John Stockton. Yeah, Al Horford has. That's crazy.
It is crazy, but he loves playing these minutes. He complained, or not he complained, but before this series, he said, 2 years ago we played 2 7-game series leading into the NBA Finals, and I was more tired. This guy's ready. He's spry. He looks good. That corner block he had on Derek Jones Jr. A 38-year-old man is flying out there. Yeah. That was nice, man. That was very nice.
All right, let's get into some random notes.
Random!
All right, a few random notes. First off, we've been doing this after every game of the finals. Did you catch the anthem? Switched it up in Dallas.
I did. I saw this anthem.
We had a straight electric guitar. A guy by the name of Guitar Slayer.
What a name.
When I heard Guitar Slayer was going to be performing, I thought it was going to be Ben Katzman from Survivor for a second. I got really excited. But anyway, this guy rocks. Apparently he's done this a couple times here throughout the postseason in Dallas. So I thought it was damn good.
Guitar anthems are always cool.
It was sick.
Yeah, I loved it.
I thought it looked like Drew Holiday was rocking a little bit.
Oh, this is nice.
Joe Mazzulla was completely zoned out, going, this music is scary.
The instruments are nice.
Anyway, it was great. It was a good one.
Great whammy bar usage.
For sure.
Going in on the whammy bar.
I like this from Dr. Lisa Salters really early in the game, 2 minutes into the game, talking about Porzingis' injury. We were getting straight up X-ray pics, X-ray animations here, really breaking down the details of KP's, tendon injury. And I I'd be lying if I said I actually knew what was going on. But
Not the retinaculum.
but still, I thought it was pretty cool.
She explained it pretty well.
She did. I'm just stupid.
She went into detail, which was nice.
He's got a bum foot. That's what I would have said.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I feel like I went to college, got a very expensive degree in health science, and the only time it comes in use is when they mention anatomical terms. I'm like, I know right where that is. And then this news came out, and I was like, what a waste of money.
Oh,
I don't even remember what a retinaculum is.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, it was ridiculous. It's all good, though, because I changed my primary care physician to Dr. Brian Suderer, because he explained this to me.
Oh, good.
I can go see him anytime. It's covered in network.
Well, I would like to first talk to Jeff Stotts of In Street Clothes, and then I go to Dr. Suderer. Okay, I love this little clip. Lively trying to do the quick inbounds to Luka after a Tatum score, and it was so quick and so weird that they literally had to blow the whistle and be like, "Hold on, I don't know, that may have been illegal." Look at Tatum. Hold on, but that was fine. He was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds.
Yeah, like Steve Nash and the Suns used to do this all the time.
Yep.
All the time. It was like, you get scored on, you get that ball into me as soon as you can. And that just means get your feet out and tap it to me. But it looks weird when you see it, even in slow-mo. And that pairs nicely with the next note. Steve Nash in attendance. Big shot from the Mavericks. Emmitt Smith, he's going nuts. And Dirk's like, come on, Steve. Get into the game a little bit more. And so Dirk just chucks an elbow in Steve's chest, and then Steve gives a sort of a scream, and smiles after. But I like that we saw the Nash quick inbounds, and Nash was sitting right there.
Yep. I wonder if he has a problem cheering for Kyrie Irving.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Kind of ran him out of town.
What three? I don't remember what three was made there.
I think that was after Josh Green made his three.
That was his Josh Green.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were rallying. But Dirk wasn't up or anything. He wasn't cheering that loudly.
His hands went up.
It was just a kind of a clap, I guess.
He put his hands up. Emmitt Smith was into the game.
Emmitt Smith was cheering way more than Dirk and Steve Nash. Yeah. It was like throughout the whole game.
Yeah, he was really into it. And speaking of Dirk, there, this was the 13th anniversary of Game 6 of the Mavericks win in Miami, winning the title. So we had in attendance there. Had the whole gang, basically. You got Caron Butler, Corey Brewer, Sean Marion, Dirk.
Brian Cardinal.
Hey, look behind Dirk. That's a little JJ Barea. Brian Cardinal, Tyson Chandler, and the Jet, Jason Terry. I didn't see Barea at first.
Yeah.
Little JJ there, but he is.
Got him in a backpack.
He's doing Hodor. Dirk's doing a Hodor with JJ.
It was funny. Yeah, he was doing TV recently, and they asked him, do you think Luka can be a better Maverick than Dirk? He said, no, man, we won the title. These guys? He didn't really say that, but anyways, that's my Barea take.
Okay.
And I also wanted to get something that I asked for to have in the first segment there, JD. Sorry to ask you for this over here, but this is a great joke. This is a tweet that is not tweet of the night.
Okay.
But Hubie Talks Hoops is the Twitter handle. He said, one day Luka Doncic will have a statue in Dallas that looks like this, where he's complaining to the referee. Now, that would be funny. I don't know if you'd have spit coming out of his mouth like this particular photo does if you're watching on YouTube, but he's got his hands out complaining to the referee. That would be a good statue. And because Dirk has one, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny for me.
Well, that was always that was what the Tim Duncan statue was going to look like. Yeah, like either... Yeah, some sort of reactionary look to an official. But Tatum's, Lucas. There will be no statue if he continues to do this throughout his career. See Brian Windhorst?
Oh, he went in.
He went in on Luka. And the complaining. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. You got to use this as a learning lesson. And maybe he will, because it has reared its ugly head at times in the postseason. And then it does seem to go away, or he gets back on track. And but it was bad, as we went over in Game 3. And he cost his team the game a little bit. He did, because he wasn't there in the closing moments. We always said if the Mavs were going to win, they were going to be close games, and it was going to come down to maybe you having Luka and Kyrie to get you across the finish line. He wasn't there because he couldn't play the final 4 minutes.
You got to be able to complain and keep your head, because Michael Jordan, all-time complainer. Tim Duncan, all-time complainer. Kobe Bryant, all-time complainer. but they don't fall out, and they just keep complaining and playing into the fourth quarter. So that will be Luka's growth area, but it's all good. He's only the same age as Xavier Tillman. He's got a long time to grow here.
When you put it like that. All right, let's get.
I got a couple more.
Oh, sorry.
There was a guy cutting a massive yawn behind Luka Doncic on the bench with 2 minutes and 32 seconds left. First finals game at home in 13 years. This guy. This is getting too stressful. I thought that was great. Okay. And I also loved JJ Redick calling Kyrie Irving an ethical scorer, and Mike Breen and Doris Burke being like, what?
What?
That was like you explaining the internet to your uncle. You know? Like, what are you talking about?
I can't believe they didn't mention Pascal Siakam. That guy is the ethical scorer. But yeah, it was funny. And then he had to describe it to Doris and Mike. And he did. And Mike said, oh, yeah, I get it now. Thanks very much for explaining it. That was very funny.
Thank you. Any other random notes?
Well, just the fact that you said Luka was on the bench there with a couple of minutes left. Luka Doncic did not leave the bench after being fouled out. Usually a guy walks to the locker room. He's done after fouling. He stayed on the bench for the rest of the game. Now,
you can, obviously.
You can.
Yeah, it's when you're like tossed.
Yeah.
But you just fouled out.
You just never see a guy. And I wonder if like they sort of ask, well, I guess they don't ask you to leave, but
no. Not in fouling out. You don't have to go back to the locker room.
But it seemed like
that'd be a little weird, actually. Like, all right, well, all my fouls are used up. See you guys later. Good luck without me, suckers.
Mark Davis did describe it when he got on the referee mic. Luka is disqualified. I mean,
he did say that.
Yeah,
word,
well, yeah. This is WWE. Do you got to go to the back locker room if you're disqualified? But it looked like the Mavs were building a wall around Luka. Like they were all standing in front of him for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, don't pick up a tech over here, man. It's amazing nobody got tech in that game. Him specifically. That's incredible when you think about it. All of the constant complaining. You got to give a little credit to the officials for at least that. They could have many times. I give it at least the first tech. Yeah. All right, man, shut up.
They didn't. Shut up, tech.
No tech for him or Tatum. Yeah. And we didn't update our instigator draft. I guess because nothing is happening.
Nothing has happened in the finals. Yeah,
because we drafted all these guys. Yeah, it's clean.
Well, we're going to be doing a live podcast immediately following Game 4 on Friday night here from the Classic Factory. So I think, depending on what happens, maybe the Celtics win their 18th banner. Maybe the Mavericks extend the series. But we do need to recap the Instigator draft, and we need to recap our, best players. Our draft that we did at the start of the NBA Finals, where we picked our squads. You had Sam Hauser as the final pick.
Yeah.
This guy's cooking.
That was great.
So you're looking good there. I mean,
maybe.
I know I'm not winning. I had Luka, and he's struggling. Well, I guess, he's got big numbers. We did say fantasy points, so that's going to help, for sure. But anyway, we'll do all that.
Yeah, he's only averaging 29.33 points.
Yeah, true. Okay, let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Twitter.
I just couldn't believe this one from Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid sitting there watching the finals. It looks like this game is over because Boston is up big, and he tweets, did the Bucks give them the championship? That's what he tweets live because Drew Holiday is now a member of the Boston Celtics. That's what Joel Embiid was doing. And people jumped on and said, hey, man, this is not your burner. This is actually your Twitter account. What are you doing? So just a weird comment. I don't know how you guys feel about somebody watching.
It's complimentary to Drew Holiday, obviously. Yeah. It's like, that guy's awesome.
Yeah. But I wonder if it's a little anger towards the Philadelphia 76ers. I'd like some better teammates.
I'd like some Drew Holidays? I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah, I have no idea. It just seemed like a weird one because the game wasn't over by any means.
Well, when did he tweet it? When they were up by 21?
Yeah, it was big.
A lot of people thought it was over, though.
I did.
My God.
I did.
Well, they hit 2 threes to start the fourth quarter, basically, right? Yeah, it was 15. They built it to 21.
Yeah.
It looked like it was done.
Joel Embiid loves wrestling. Jaylen Brown looked like he was a wrestler when they went up 21. Right. And there's a timeout, and he does
the Hogan.
Whoa. What do you got to say now? Yeah. Basically, to the crowd. Since I highlighted that one from Joel Embiid, I also wanted to highlight a classic from Joel Embiid when Ben Simmons got dealt. This was the day that Ben Simmons got dealt away from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Brooklyn Nets, and he just tweets a gentleman in his best attire, attending a funeral, I guess, to say it's all over for Ben Simmons with Philadelphia. That was, it was after the whole Ben Simmons didn't shoot thing months earlier, and that whole thing. It's just been a wild run for Joel Embiid in Philadelphia when somebody does some sort of movie. Because I tried to go through the Joel Embiid Twitter account. Were there worse ones? Were there worse ones than him just saying, "Hey, the Bucks just gave Boston Celtics a championship"? There wasn't a lot. It's all like, "Hala Madrid." He loves soccer.
Big soccer guy.
Yeah, huge.
Loves a beautiful game.
Like every week, he's tweeting that.
In the Bucks' defense, they didn't give Drew Holiday to the Celtics.
Yeah.
He got there, but he was traded to the Blazers, was he not? It's part of a 3-team deal, and then the Blazers trading him to Boston for Malcolm Brogdon, Time Lord, a couple picks.
Yep.
It was a few days later.
Yeah. And look, I mean, the Bucks were terrible in last season's playoffs. They lost to an 8th seed. It was a huge drama. They fired their coach and they got rid of Drew Holiday, and everybody was okay with it.
Right.
Everybody's like, well, they had to do something. This team has gotten stale, were the words. But I didn't see if Embiid tweeted anything about the 76ers picking Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz over Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Did he mention that? No?
I don't think so.
Man, Sixers just gifted them a championship 7 years down the road.
Yeah, in a weird way they did.
That was a weird Brian Colangelo trade. The 1-3 trade for Tatum for Fultz. That was weird. When you think about it that way, it's all Brian's fault. But anyways, now we're writing tweets for Joel Embiid. It's all weird. It was just weird to see a player like that tweeting at this time. But the Drew Holiday thing, yeah, that's why we have it here, to correct where he was traded.
Yes.
He was traded as part of a 3-way trade to the Blazers. And then the Blazers game for Brogdon, Robert Williams in that first round.
It'd be amazing if you could bake into your trade, okay, yeah, we're trading Drew Holiday to the Blazers, but you guys cannot turn around and trade him to our rival in the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
If you're going to move him, you got to move him somewhere out west or some crappy team. Can't be a good team, but you can't do that. So he got there. All right. Thank you, Joel Embiid, for chiming in.
Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks. You're watching at home just like the rest of us, except for Ben Simmons. He's working out.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, got a couple of great Sixers tweets. Ben Simmons is working out, and Joel Embiid is watching the playoffs at home.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I liked what I was seeing from Ben Simmons. I liked what I was seeing in that Instagram. I'm coming around. I think this is the year. All right, here, guys. No show tomorrow, as we will be doing our show later at night. So no show tomorrow morning is what I should clarify. Okay, we will not be live at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to wait until after Game 4 of the NBA Finals. It's a quick turnaround here. We'll be here in the Classic Factory. Again, either congratulating the Boston Celtics on going 80-20 in the season if they sweep this thing, or saying, oh boy, Dallas is alive. Oh man, they just got to get Game 5. Somebody's eventually got to come back from a 3-0 deficit. So anyway, we'll be talking about one of those two storylines following Game 4. So we can't wait to see you here. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know when we're live on YouTube. And podcast listeners, do us a favor. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. All right, until tomorrow night. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, it's almost free agency season. I'm already looking ahead. You just mentioned Markelle Fultz. He's a free agent. Who wants him? He's done with that contract where he got, 3 for 51 approximately. He's making 17 this year. Now he's available.
Back to the Sixers.
Orlando's going to be doing some things.
He's a point guard.
Yep, go to the Sixers.
There we go.
Get to tweeting, Joel. Brace the day, people.